Alright, hi everyone. So today I'm going to be doing a Theros pre-release draft. Just waiting for the queue to start here, so we'll just do a quick intro and then dive right into it. Basically, this is the first availability of Theros Online, so we're going to be doing a draft. My experience with Theros so far has been just the paper pre-release, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the sealed format. I thought it was excellent. So I'm looking forward to seeing if the draft format holds up. I don't have a lot, obviously. This is my first draft ever with Theros, so I don't have much experience with the cards. So we're just going to be taking a look at everything. So, real quick, go right to the rare. Prognostic Sphinx is a 3/5 flyer. This card is insane and almost certainly going to be our pick. It just, it's big, it blocks things, it's hard to kill, and the ability is nuts, so I'm pretty happy to have opened that guy, so we're gonna select that. Other cards that look good in this set, I think this guy's really good. 2/5 Death Touch for 5. He gets big and kills a dude. Yeah, that's a nice solid card. Decent removal spell right here. It would be nice if it was an instant, but, 5 mana for 4 damage, you'll take it. This card's not the worst, but I certainly wouldn't first pick it. This card I was actually really impressed with in the pre-release. It was a key player in my deck. Just a big game in general. But and this guy's also worth mentioning. But we're passing not much awesome blue, and we got a nice, pretty sick rare, and we got past another sick rare. This guy's nuts. If he's really efficient, great body, comes into play, blows up a bunch of lands. If you get to activate his monstrosity, it's nigh impossible to come back from it. So we're definitely going to be picking that guy. I'm curious as to what someone took over it. It looks like it was either a foil or a common. I'm guessing a foil because this guy's just really good. This is a Swiss queue, so we'll get to play all 3 rounds, win or lose. Now it's really bad value, and of course it's a release queue, so I don't know how competitive it will be, but we'll see. So we're definitely taking the Ember Swallower here. Nimbus Naiad is also a strong consideration. I think this guy's really, really good. Bestow is a great mechanic for limited, and a Windrake is acceptable, but a Windrake, a thing that makes your guy kill them instantly and gives you a Windrake is awesome, but still not going to pass a bomb for it. Alright, so what have we got here? We have a 2/1 flyer for 2, very efficient. What's this guy do? 5/4 for 5. That falters with the monstrous. I don't know if I want another 5-drop in my first 3 picks. Doesn't look like there's much outside of blue and red. I think we're probably in the right colors. Yeah, this guy's a lot worse than the one that gives flying. Still not the worst, you'd play him, but definitely much worse than Nimbus Naiad. What's this guy? 3/3 flying vigilance, pay 3 life. Oh, that guy's pretty good. Gets kind of blanked by our Prognostic Sphinx here. So I think we'll take this guy just because he has really high upside. The other option, I think, is Vaporkin or Mnemonic Wall. We don't have any instants or sorceries to go with Mnemonic Wall yet, but in blue-red we probably will. But if we're very lucky, we can wheel one of the blue cards. Anyways, we have really good high end, so we should probably be looking to fill out our low end, ideally with some removal spells. Okay, what's this guy? Ooh, he's the Minotaur Lord. Not a great Minotaur Lord, but playable. Whenever you cast a spell that targets it, target creature an opponent controls can't block this turn. I think that's much more aggressive than our deck is going to end up, most likely. To X target creatures, gain haste and intimidate. That's kind of sweet. You get, it's basically a 3/3 haster, or 2/2 haster. So just looking at the cards here, there's another Mnemonic Wall, basically. Titan Strength I don't think is very good. But Mnemonic Wall and Borderland Minotaur, I think, are what we're looking at. Borderland Minotaur is nice and efficient. He's just a good body. Obviously not as good as Ember Swallower. But I think we're going to take the Mnemonic Wall just because I really like Mnemonic Wall. Alright, so Definitely have to pick some cheaper cards, but luckily for us there's two good cheap blue cards in this pack, in Omen Speaker and Voyage's End. I like both of those. I think we probably want the Omen Speaker here, because even though we do have, we need instants and sorceries for our mnemonic wall, I just really want something that can block the early heroic guys. And so I think we're going to take that. Thassa's Bounty is just too expensive for what it does. I mean, it's great, but at this point, if we get to the late game, we have a whole bunch of win conditions. We don't really need the draw yet. Maybe later. Alright, right here, and there's another Thassa's Bounty. There's a bunch of blanks in this pack. This card's actually quite good. Ill-Tempered Cyclops I like quite a bit. It's just a hill giant, but hill giants are fine, and it has got a pretty solid late game monstrosity, turning it into a 6/6. This card is actually quite good, I think. It triggers heroic, although we probably won't have a ton of heroic creatures in this deck. But I think in this case we're just going to take the 4/4. Once again, I'm passing the Thassa's Bounty because we just have too many expensive spells at the moment. Alright, this pack is going to be pretty blank for us. I don't mind this card. That guy's okay. We could still jump out of either of our colors, but we have pretty good cards in both colors, so we'd prefer not to. This one makes people discard. This one is the Minotaur thing. We didn't take any of the Minotaurs we could have had. But I think we're just going to take the Fleshmad Steed, because if we end up in black, we'll just want the 2-drop. Alright, another blank pack. That's unfortunate. There's a Decorated Griffin, a Leonin Snare Caster. Triton Shore Thief is just unplayable, even as a sideboard card. I don't think you're ever going to bring that guy in. I really quite like God's Willing. It's an awesome card. But I think in this case we're going to take the Leonin Snarecaster. It's probably the most powerful card in the pack other than Chronicler of Heroes, and it's also the one we least want to face. Alright, the Rage of Perforos and the Farika's Cure both came back from our first pack. Now, our first pack was very powerful, and the Feral Invocation. But the fact that this removal spell came back is great for us. Combos with Mnemonic Wall, it's our first instant or sorcery, and it's red, and it kills a thing, so that's nice. And we're also quite happy to pick up this Borderland Minotaur. Looks like we might be getting cut a bit in blue. And if so, we might have to jump ship, but we'll see. Portent of Betrayal is playable in certain situations, but I don't think we're going to play it yet. Certainly not in this deck. It just doesn't do anything for us at the moment. Alright. So far in Pack 2, I'm quite happy. We got an Ember Swallower and a Prognostic Sphinx, which is great. And we picked up some solid support. We need some more cheap drops, and some removal spells would be nice, like a Lightning Strike would be ideal, or a Magma Jet. Please go away. Alright, here we will take the Rageblood Shaman. We do have another Minotaur, and we might need the Hurloon Minotaur, the 2/3 for 3. Loathsome... How the hell do you pronounce that? Is that a word? Catabalpass. Catabalpass. I think we'll take the Lagana Band Elder. There. We'll take this. It is probably playable against some decks with a lot of bestow creatures, but we're going to hide that for now. We're going to hide that. Going to hide that. All of our red cards except Portent of Betrayal are playable for us. Alright. This pack could definitely be better. Okay, so let's take a quick look at our curve here. Going to cost sort. Notice that everything is stacked up on 4 and 5. This is not good. So we have an Actoan Crusader, which we have no way to trigger. An Ordeal of Perforos, which we could put on our 2 cheap creatures. A Sealock monster, which is just a worse 5-drop than our other 5-drops at the moment, I think. We have so much stuff to do late game, we just really don't need another 5-drop. We could actually consider taking the Satyr Rambler, because we just need cheap drops, but as a 2-drop, I think this is the worst possible one we could get. So I think the pick for us here is just the Griptide. It's a solid removal spell. It's good. There is a Soldier of the Pantheon as well, which might actually be worth a bunch of tickets. Well, I'm just going to take the Griptide anyways, and hope that wasn't worth a ton of tickets, because if it was, I'll be sad. Colossus of Akros. 10/10 Defender, Indestructible, Monstrosity 10. As long as it's monsters. Alright. As sweet as that is, and it is sweet, I like that card, it's cool. I do not think we can justify taking an 8-drop here. Two-Headed Cerberus is okay, but we have no way to buff it, and I just don't think it's going to do its job. This card I think is pretty weak. There aren't that many artifacts that are worth destroying. There's like just the gods weapons. That's the word I'm looking for. But Horizon Scholar is a solid finisher. Not that we need more of those. It's also just the only good card in this pack, so we're going to take it. Alright, right here we have another Arena Athlete, which we could take. Lost in a Labyrinth isn't actually the worst combat trick, and it also, you can trigger your own heroic spells with it for basically no cost. When you cast a spell that targets Artisan of Forms, you may have it become a copy of target creature and gain this ability. That is pretty cool. And we really don't need another 5-drop. I might take this just in case. I don't think we'll ever be able to trigger it, but it is kind of cool. I don't know, we will never be able to trigger that. It might just be the Arena Athlete. Yeah, actually, I think we have to take the Arena Athlete. It's at least a 2/1, and we're going to need something cheap. Alright, so here it's a pretty... We have basically 3 choices. We can take Mnemonic Wall, we can take Spellheart Chimera, or we can take Triton Tactics. This card, despite having a huge text box, and normally cards that have that much text on them are bad, it's a good rule of thumb for you if you're learning a new format. You can more or less ignore any card with more than like 5 lines of text. They're almost always bad. This one's an exception, though. It's actually extremely solid. We don't have a lot of creatures that we actually want to target with it. On the other hand, we have basically no way to power up either of these because we haven't hit any instants or sorceries. So I think we're going to take the Triton Tactics and hope the Chimera wheels. That might be a little bit optimistic, but we'll see. So here we can have Lost in the Labyrinth, Thassa's Bounty, which I really don't think we need. We do want some card draw in this deck, but although we do already have some Scry, which is like pseudo card draw. We could take the Bronze Sable, again just to have something to play early, or Acheron Crusader, which is a lot worse unless we get a lot of heroic spells, and we basically have nothing that triggers heroic except for Triton Tactics at the moment. I really don't want to pick this. I'm going to take the Thassa's Bounty just in case, and because that card's just so bad. There's this guy who attacks each turn as able and is the type of low drop we really don't want. Dragon's Mantle is solid. I really like this card. It triggers heroic and gives fire breathing, draws a card, and it only costs 1. Aqueous Form can't be blocked. Make it Scry 1. I don't know which of these cards is best. The Witch's Eye is awful. That's not worth a card. I think we'll take Aqueous Form here, because this guy's just bad, and I don't think we need the fire breathing. Oh, thank goodness. Crackling Triton is exactly what we wanted here. It it blocks, and it has an effect late game that's just perfect for our deck, fills out our curve a bit. Really an excellent pick for us at the moment. People are not taking Pharika's Cure very highly. I think that's a mistake. We could want this in some matchups, the Guardians of Meletis. Traveling Philosopher, just a 2/2 for 2. Decorated Griffin is pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, it's either that or hate out the Pharika's Cure, which is pretty bad against us. So, given that we don't mind if people play this against us, I think we're going to take the Guardians and hope as a sideboard card. Here I'll take the Acroan Crusader over the Satyr Rambler. We have already 1/2 for 2, and this card has some upside if we get a whole bunch of heroic triggering spells. Not that it looks like we're going to do so. We can take this and side it in if our opponent has one of the weapons. Lost in a Labyrinth is good. We might actually want to hate this out or take the Bronze Sable. Yeah, I don't think we're going to need this combat trick. Our creatures won't be scrapping that much, and Bronze Sable can fill out our curve if necessary. Return Centaur is fine, but not a card we care about being played against us. You choose a non-land card from the player's graveyard or hand and exile it. That's bad. I guess we'll take this. We almost certainly will not play that thing, but... Oh, and okay, we got another Bronze Sable. I'm going to hide these. I'm going to pick up this Silent Artisan and hide it. This guy is almost certainly not being started. Neither is this guy. This guy probably not, but still a potential. Alright. Well, we have a lot of 5-drops, so this is probably going to be an 18-land deck. You also can afford to play more lands when you have scry cards, because you just want to be able, like, you can scry those lands away late game. So, that's always nice. And we open an Elspeth. Well, that's pretty good. I'm not going to complain about opening a Planeswalker here. I'm obviously going to take that. We're not going to be able to play it. If this were a Pro Tour, I would take the Rage of Perforos, probably, or maybe the Wave Crash Titan, just because this guy's actually quite good. Or the Coastline Chimera, because Dancing Scimitars are nice, but regardless, the point is we opened a Planeswalker and we're pretty happy about this. Yeah, if it was a Pro Tour, I would take the Rage, probably, to give us an extra removal spell. But here we're going to take the Planeswalker and pay for our draft. Timuret, the Murder King. I love this guy's name. I really would like to have picked up any removal spells. A Lightning Strike or something would be super nice. This guy is cool, but definitely not worth splashing for us. On the other hand, there is a Prescient Chimera, which I guess we'll probably play. I mean, we're not playing the Wild Celebrants, so we'll take this. We're actually slightly short on playables at the moment, so something to keep in mind. Here, the playable cards for us are Thassa's Bounty, Omen Speaker, and Flamecast Wheel, and I think it's a pretty easy Omen Speaker. Flamecast Wheel is still very expensive. Even though we do need removal, we also just need early drops, and we'll take the Omen Speaker and be fairly happy about it. If this deck had a Lightning Strike, it would be about 100 times better. Alright, so there's this Voyage's End and a Spark Jolt. I think Voyage's End is generally better than Spark Jolt. It actually just deals with more stuff. And in this kind of deck, we can use that. We can get it back with Mnemonic Wall. We can do stuff like that. And basically, we're just trying to buy time until our big stuff comes online. So, a bounce spell is exactly what the doctor ordered. There's another Stone Shock Giant. which has another falter effect, and this guy is still quite big. The other option is a Gainsay for the sideboard, a Coastline Chimera to block stuff, but I think the power level on Stone Shock Giant is just so much higher that we're willing to spend the extra mana. The difference between 4 and 5 is big, but I don't know. That could easily be a mistake. That's one of the picks I think in this draft could easily be a mistake. I feel like we identified colors fairly well. It might be that we should be in white instead of in blue, because I have seen a fair amount of white come past. Here I'm definitely going to take Dissolve over Griptide. It just happens earlier, and we already have a Griptide. And I've been actually quite impressed. My pre-release deck was also blue-red, and I was quite impressed with Dissolve in that deck. So I'm going to pick this up. Also, we will be holding mana open for things like bounce spells and monstrosity triggers in the late game, so. If we could pick up another Borderland Minotaur, this Rageblood Shaman would actually do stuff. Ooh. Dare I Boulder Fall? It's gotta be so bad, right? It's so expensive. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Phalanx Leader, put a +1/+1. Yeah, I think our white deck would actually be quite good. We would have a bunch of early drops and heroic triggers, and there's been a lot of white going around the table. Triad of Fates. Fate counter, exile target creature that has a fate counter. Oh, okay, so blink it, but it does remove the fate counter. Or kill it and give its controller 2 cards. Well, we're taking the Boulder Fall. I might try to play this just for shits and giggles. This last pack was quite bad for us on the whole. I'm going to take this Snarecaster. Oh, okay, but tabling this Wave Crash Triton actually helps a ton, because it blocks early, and the heroic trigger is actually very good. You can lock down a bunch of dudes with Triton Tactics on this guy. We don't care about any of these cards being played against us. We don't have any artifacts or enchantments to exile. So I'm gonna take the land. And just hope that someone plays some of those cards. Battle-wise Valor. We're just going to take the combat trick here. It just makes it slightly harder for people to own us with combat tricks. And the Spark Jolt came back, which we actually might start main over like the Arena Athlete or something. It's probably better on the whole in this deck, because Arena Athlete just does so little. Pick up another Battle-wise Valor. I don't think that should be going that late. +2/+2 and Scry 1 is a totally reasonable card there, because you really want a lot of effects to trigger heroic. If you happen to, like, if you're in white, you're probably going heroic, so you want a lot of effects that trigger it. Alright, so to build this deck, we're going to be looking at certainly all of those cards. We'll play both Omen Speakers, we'll play Voyage's End, we might play this, we will probably play this, we can play this, we can play this. Here, 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 here. Yes. Yes. Maybe. Yes. Alright, so that's 18 cards. So basically we just want our last few cards to fill things out, and the options are these guys, essentially. I guess there's also Bronze Sable or Arena Athlete. Arena Athlete is strictly better than Bronze Sable once it's in play, but we can play this off of just 2 islands, which might be relevant and might mean that we should play it over the Arena Athlete if we're playing either of them. Alright, well I think we definitely want the Triton Tactics, it's just really good. And And I actually feel that this deck does want Thassa's Bounty, even though it's so expensive, because we have no other form of card draw. And this kind of deck really does want card draw. Our lack of removal is quite crushing. I don't think we can justify Aqueous Form here. We have basically no good targets for it until we're already dropping 5-drops, and if you're putting it on a Stone Shock Giant or something, it's just such a waste. I think we will play the Rageblood Shaman just as a 2-3 for 3, because it looks like we're going to need one of those. Oh, we could also play this guy, actually. Which might be better than one of the 2-1s for 2, or Boulder Fall, or anything along those lines. I think... Yeah, actually, I think that makes sense. I think what we're going to do is we're going to play the Guardians, and then we're going to play 18 land, and we're going to call it a day. See what MTGO suggests. It likes 9/9. We'll sort by color. We have a lot more blue cards, but all our red cards are double red, so yep, I think 9/9 is correct. And that looks good. So I'm going to submit this deck, and I will see you guys back here for round 1. Thanks for watching.